Okay, well, after a very enlightening discussion, I feel. Welcome to episode 33 of Shattered Earth. Last time, Scholar's March successfully retrieved the item that they were looking for from the bowels of a core spawn hive right before its very angry denizens uh, caught them and ate them and destroyed their lives. Um, Retreated into the back into the tunnels of the Underdark, parted ways with their, I guess, traveling patrons, and find themselves paid and in need of some downtime, as I understand it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I believe Tavos wants to see his family, uh, and
That's downtime for me, dog.
Chance needs to look into his needs to actually do his job.
Sure, his stuff. I'm gonna preemptively pull up Xanathar's here.
Taxes have
we can
already
go
been
last time.
taxes were already factored, but at the end of last session, so don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. Xanathar's Guide to Everything PDF. Okay.
In fact, I think you did the taxes at the end of the last session just so it wouldn't come on this one.
Yep, I did do that. Yeah,
So
Third Eye
tomorrow,
Inquisition's still missing, by the way. Still not there.
Yeah, may have to actually foreclose on that. Not back soon.
Probably. Okay. Who wants to go first?
did Fulmora ever cast Identify on Arcanite to see if it's all well and good? Like,
I have
you-
identify. Do I?
Yeah,
Strovan
tonight.
does, and we can at least say he did for dips.
Sure, we can say that. Yeah, the Arcanite is fine. It's working Arcanite. It was briefly touched by death, but otherwise in working condition.
So we can deliver the chunk. We can quickly deliver that chunk to our
You have several
friends.
chunks to be candid. You have several smaller chunks of a greater whole of Arcanite that you can gather and return to your contact, Mr. Bud in Larishev.
We can do that. We can do one for Bud, one for, if I may be so bold as to ask, one for the Archmage, and then we could save some of that for our own personal use later.
The problem is, I think most of the arc that we have is going to take up the amount that Bud asked for. Because Bud asked for a football's worth.
Yeah.
So
Like
all of us,
we may have like one shard left over.
Essentially, I mean, just looking at it, you know you don't have enough for both, so you have to pick and choose. You can either finish off Dean Bud's request, or you can finish off the Archmages. In either case, you're going to have a small amount left over that you can use for your own spells in the future.
what does that do for our own spells?
Yeah, because I have it marked in my sheet. We have 13 crystals.
Yes, 13 smaller than football-sized crystals that will make up a greater whole. Most of that will go toward whatever you want to turn in, or if you want to keep all of it, that's up to you. But if you're looking to turn it in and get a quest reward out of it, then you're looking at enough for one objective and some for you to keep.
Do we know how Arcanite will benefit us?
Say that again, my guy. You're roboting pretty hard.
Do we know how Arcanite will benefit us?
How much?
Like, what does it like mechanically do for us?
It works the same way that Matthew Mercer's what does he call it? Residuum. It works the same way as Residuum does in Critical Role, where it can replace the components of spells based on the gold amount that you have. In addition to that, if you have enough of it, you can use it to craft magical items, and you can use it to amplify magic when made into a potion.
Mm.
So it can be an amplifier, it can be a replacement for gold cost components, and it can be used to craft magical items.
I think since we invest so much into Dean Bud, I'm not too worked up on giving him the big chunk.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, the Archmage asked for it more like a fancy. This was an actual, like, request. The Archmage just said, "Oh, yeah, I just want to study it." Dave was like, hey, I'll pay if you give me this.
We get other benefits. At least I get benefits if the Archmage has access to more shit. So,
Like, what we could do is we could give Dean the amount that he needs for whatever, and then we could just give what's left to the Archmage. It's not gonna be enough, but at least be a start for what he wants to do with it.
yeah. That was going to be my proposition. Because we're not making... I think we're sitting pretty on magic stuff right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. We all have a decent bit of magical gear. So it's not like we're in desperate need of Arcanite shit. So, yeah, that would be my thing. Give the big chunk to Dean, to good Bud, and then float or whatever's left, which I can deliver because once we get a lever shove, I can just peace out to Providence.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Okay. So
Let's make it happen. Yeah.
So, Mr. Bud, it takes you a little while to travel back to Lairshub, but I'm not going to make you do anything along the way. Once you return, the item that was requested to your blacksmith friend. He looks and he says, "Well, not exactly what I asked for, but it is the amount I asked for, so I suppose that's fair enough. Here's here's what I got for you. Hold on a second." And he goes behind the counter, lifts up the trapdoor to his basement, and walks down the ladder. And after about 3 seconds with him gone, his head pops up again and says, "Come on, follow me. I want to show you what we've been working on this whole time."
That follows.
I follow.
Okay. Descend the ladder into a small but spacious basement workshop, where clearly he's been tinkering on some stuff. You can see a couple of workbenches that are spaced in the center and around the sides of the room. You can see several tools. Some of them fine tools like tinker's tools. Others more of a smithing nature, heavy hammers and an anvil. Stashed to one side, and a rather large object with a sheet draped over it at one end of the room, sitting in the corner. He says, "Yeah, I've been working on this thing for a long time. I bought it off a traveling merchant, was it like 10 years ago now? And parts for it are pretty rare, which, as you can see," and he grabs a sheet and rips it off, and you can see a large, what appears to be like a very large suit of armor, with big iron breastplate, huge iron gauntlets, helmet, greaves and boots, and then connecting them is this weird, like, it almost looks like wood, but it's twisted in such a way as to mimic limbs. And on the armor itself, you can see several geometric designs representing like diamonds or triangles, all etched into it, and along the back, the helmet, the gauntlets, everything. It's very, very Celtic. He says, "Yeah, most of the parts have been stripped out of this thing or broken down and useless, and certainly the power source lost its its gumption a long time ago, but looking to make this thing into a little helper for my shop, and certainly with its help, I can afford to give.
I'm sorry, you might need to correct something. You said little helper. God damn.
Yeah, it's easily like 15 feet tall. This thing.
That's
He had to-
not little.
You need
He had to
change your
invest a
definition of
considerable
little.
amount into his basement. Like a normal room's ceiling is 10 feet. He had to specifically build a basement that was like well below and had a high ceiling to have this thing down here. You can see
You need
that
to
on
change your definition of little.
on the construct itself. You can see that the chest plate is has an opening to it that's currently pried open, and you can see like several like metal braided cords dangling out of it, at the end of which are would look to be like iron, like small iron baskets, essentially, like if you were to take a wicker basket but make it out of iron. That was basically what these look like. It's small in nature, like one of those like a dipping sauce cup, basically, that you could fit in the palm of your hand. And he gathers the arcanite that he got from you and puts it off to the side in a safe that he has down here as well. A big, heavy steel safe that he has, and he sticks it in there. And it's one of those safes where like the top of it rotates so that you can put items in there, but you can't get them out without actually unlocking and opening the safe. So you don't see him actually open the safe. He just kind of drops the arcanite in there and then rotates it in. And he says, "One moment while I gather your earnings." But yeah, this I can certainly afford to essentially double, maybe more, my business now that I have him essentially up and running. Gonna need to get this arcanite refined, but that's not a big issue. I can work with that.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Is this basically the Hulkbuster version of a Warforged?
It's a
It's a shield guardian.
it's a dwarven shield guardian. If you want to look that up,
I don't know what that is, so I'll look that up.
Google is your friend.
Thank you.
That's an example of what it looks like.
My question is, who in the fuck needs a shield guardian for?
Apparently him. But he turns around and, grabs a sack off the counter and says, "I've been holding on to this for special occasion, and you certainly helped make this a reality, so all yours, fellas." He dumps the thing on the table. Should be enough to cover the cost of that arcanite plus a little bonus for you. As a way of obviously paying you for your trouble.
I'm trying to. Chance's trying to think of how the fuck a shield guardian would help with a forge.
Well, it's a big metal thing, so that's helpful.
Yes.
Like maybe have it like stand out front, spinning a sign.
No, I imagine if they need. It's a Jesus. I want to hold on. I'm gonna save this picture and put it into the chat.
Like what else I think is that maybe because like hey, it has like metal hands, it can literally just reach to the forge and shape the metal while it's hot.
I should have the. Do I have the thing? I should have the thing. Yeah.
This is the motherfucker we're looking at.
Oh,
Yeah. If
yeah.
you want to see it on the game, that's what we got.
By the way, a regular, I'd say average human head comes up to his hip.
Big motherfucker.
He big.
Big motherfucker.
He big.
Could be helpful if he wants to do like. It could be helpful if he wants to do like bigger projects like ships and shit.
Like cannons?
Yeah.
Or just sheer volume of steel he could pump out at that point. He could take larger orders. But whatever the case.
Yeah, that's one way to expand your business, sure.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Whatever the case, that sack that he clunks on the table has a number of coins in it, which, when you take the time to count them, has 1,000 gold in it, as well as an additional 200 platinum, which he has. So 3K total.
That'll do it. You know what? That'll do it. Hold on, holy shit. And that's split 4 ways?
Assume so.
Yeah.
I don't know if Strovan wants the profit, but whatever you want to do with it. In addition to that, because you've been so instrumental and because you've essentially done most of the heavy lifting, you have a permanent 20% off at anything you commission from him or buy from him in the future. And anything you order from him will take not as long to do. Now that he has a big help.
100 platinum and 1,000 gold.
1,000 gold and 200 platinum, totaling 3,000.
So if we just do the conversions, each one of us gets 75 platinum. I think. Did I do the math right?
300 divided by 4. 30 divided by 4 is
75?
yeah, 75. 700,
Yeah.
750 gold each.
Yeah.
Or 75 platinum. I would do platinum because it's less of a denomination.
So everyone has 75 fucking platinum just in their piggy banks.
In addition to the gold you got from Hadrigan for doing your job.
That's almost enough to actually cover. Actually, no, I think that is almost enough to cover the rest for the furniture on my house one. That's that.
It's so awesome, bro.
Somebody write down that you have 20% off at Dean's if you haven't already, because I'm gonna forget that.
I have instead of noting everything on here, because I have a lot of items, I've just been using like note cards that I have, and so I've read that on one of my note cards for the game.
Good, as long as somebody remembers how much you have off, because I'm not going to, most likely. Okay, cool. So that is one portion of your thing. Now I'll open it up for downtime stuff. Individual downtime.
Yeah. Savanta definitely wants to spend time with his family, but definitely wants to see if he can do anything for like the community at Providence. Like he'll of course spend time with his family, but also help around the community with that whatever is needed. And if anyone has anything specific they want to ask of Savanta while he's out there, he's gonna make note of that and try to do stuff about that.
Okay.
That's Savanta's goal for downtime, at least.
Okay.
Because that's the community where his family is living and thriving, and so he wants to help that community and his family. If that means spending a little bit of the wealth I have on here, that's fine with him.
I actually am going to pull like 53 gold out of my personal funds and just pay for the rest of the furniture from that one lady who's supposed to show up and give her take on things. Because, if I remember correctly, Chance had asked a wood carving, someone had a wood carving shop in Zasny to come by and take a look.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember her name, but yeah, there was a...
Because he didn't know what would fit best, so he just asked her to come and take a look at the mansion herself and let her decide what style would go with as well. Interior decorator, he is not.
Let's see. I have her name here somewhere.
I think she was a halfling.
Yeah. Berga. Halfling female wood carver. Berga Redleaf. From Berga's Carvings in Zasny. Yeah, she's mainly a staff and wand crafter, but hey, for that much money, she'll do whatever you want her to do.
Well, he liked the little. He liked what she was making. About like,
I think she was a staff maker. I might need to hit her up at some point. I like staffs. need a better walking stick.
And Dean's thing took all the crystals, right? We don't have any left.
He took most of them. The crystals that he needed, he took, and you have 100 gold left in crystals to do with as you please.
I didn't mark down the value of each crystal. I just marked down the amount of crystals we had.
Right, and I deliberately did that on purpose because it covers gold cost of items, and I figured that you guys were going to turn it in, so I had to come up with a value for it. That's why you got 1,000 gold, because the amount that he took was worth 1,000.
All right. Well,
You have 100.
how much
So
of
if we
how much of that is out of 13 crystals?
Sure, 13 crystals.
Divided by 11.
Let's say it's worth 100. So right now it's worth 1,000, 100, 1,100 gold, right?
It doesn't matter.
So-
Just put 100 gold worth of Arcanite that you have.
Cool. You want to swing that
the number
towards
of
me?
crystals doesn't matter in terms of what you would use that for in the future.
All right, I'll just mark it down. I'll just rewrite it in my sheet as 100 gold worth of Arcanite.
Do you want to swing that towards me to give to the Archmage?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll mark that down on my sheet.
Okay.
What's some more doing?
Just to be clear, he's going to use that amount, so you're basically giving him 100 gold worth of Arcanite. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a heads up.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that back. Like he's going to use it up.
Yeah, chances
I'm-
expecting it's just somewhat decent return on ROI depending on how he uses it. So
Well,
Yes.
I don't
I know why he wanted it now. I remember why. I was trying to remember why he wanted it, and it was because of the thing Tabanta asked him. So yes, I understand it. Got it.
what did I ask him?
I was trying to remember. You asked him about the storm.
Right. Oh yeah, my whole space.
About it. He's
Right.
like, well, I'd probably need some Arcanite to figure out how the fuck we're gonna do that. So.
Yeah. No, it's not gonna be a direct one-to-one return. I'm sorry, Chance, but it will be beneficial.
Hopefully.
I mean,
that's the cross fingers part of it.
like a decent ROI does not necessarily mean it's 1-to-1.
Sure.
We don't even know if it's gonna be one to anything, but we're gonna try.
It's 100 gold. He can make that in a month.
I love how we're that good with cash. They're like, yeah, it's 100 gold. Fuck it.
Adventuring is as lucrative as it is dangerous.
We used to not be that strapped with cash.
I mean, we're still don't have the cash we want.
Hey man, I'm sitting on 186 platinum. I'm okay. And if I give any more to my family, they're gonna be like, we have enough for several years. You can chill.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. If you try to give any more to your family, they're like, we didn't even use like a tenth of what you gave us before. And that was with us like trying to spend money. We couldn't use it all. So.
Right.
Now, in terms of furniture wise, that's all paid off, right? You've given her all the money that you need.
Well, I gave her half. I gave her 2,500 to at least, and I think a little bit more than that, just so that way she could,
right. For the sake of downtime,
together.
once her job is completed, you're going to give her everything.
Yeah.
Now, she had an order for the college that was going to take a while, so she's actually going to get to Larishev a day or two after you guys get back, because she had to finish up her previous engagement. But when she arrives, she gets to work, and it's going to take her a while to craft that much furniture. So she's going to be essentially be using your home as a base of operations and having all of the lumber she needs shipped to the house. So you're going to have shipments of wood coming in and sitting on the front lawn for a little while.
Fine by me.
To finish up all this stuff.
Because by the end of it, we'll have a decent fucking bed.
Yeah. Now, and then the last portion of that money, the last 5,000 was going for what? What was the other thing? The foundation, the roof. What did I say?
Let's see. No, the foundation was the first thing. It was 5K for the furniture, 5K for the architecture, because there was some like structure things that need to be fixed, like the stairs and shit.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the last. I don't remember what the last $5,000 was for. I don't remember.
I think I split it up as the foundation of the house itself, meaning the stonework. The flooring and roof was $5,000, so that's two separate things. And then the furniture was the last $5,000. So the only thing that needs to be done is, so you did the flooring, you don't have the foundation. So the foundation is the only thing that's left. You need to fix the stonework of the mansion because it is crumbling in places, covered in ivy and such. There you go.
As someone who at least knows the bare minimum of architecture, I did this in the entirely wrong order.
That's fine. It's a fantasy land.
But
We can figure out what we want to do. In a fantasy land, I don't care enough to make it realistic enough. So we'll just go with whatever happens. Whatever you paid for first happens first, with no issues. All right. Okay, so that'll she'll be working on that. It's going to take her probably, I mean, for that much furniture, probably 2 months.
Hey, I just, as long as it gets done, I'm not too bothered about about how long.
Yeah, it's going to take her. I'd say it'd probably take her a work week to finish 2 smaller pieces of furniture, and she's got several larger ones to throw in there too. So, all in all, 2 months seems fair enough to me. New bed, new chairs, new wardrobes, new desks, stuff like that. Cool. So that's bought and paid for. Who next? Flamora, I'm assuming, because the other 2 have done stuff.
I have to go buy some spells first.
Right. So you're traveling to Onyx and back. That's going to take about a week.
Okay.
And then what spells are you trying to get?
First one being invisibility.
Okay. So you have a 2nd level spell.
Yep. Second one being, I don't know how to pronounce augury.
Augury.
Augury. Yep.
That's a 3rd level, right?
Nope. 2nd level.
Oh, 2nd level. All right. Clairvoyance is 3rd level. Augury is 2nd level. Okay.
Third.
2 2nd levels.
Third one is Tasha's Mind Whip.
That one's first. Second.
Yep.
Okay, so 3 2nd level spells. Are you having these professionally scribed for you, or are you going to do the scribing?
Professionally scribed.
Okay. So, for a wizard, it is 50 gold per level of the spell.
Okay.
So that's 100 gold for each spell. So that's 300 gold off the bat. And then, plus the scriber's fee, they're going to add another 50 gold onto that. So it will say 350. And it'll take them a total of 8 hours, so you have to spend at least 1 day in Onyx, which means that you should take off. What is your lodgings going to be? Are you going to stay in the expensive part of town or the seedy part of town?
I guess the expensive part.
What happened?
I guess the expensive part.
Okay. So we'll say 5 gold for the day that you're there. So we'll say 355 is your total cost for getting those professionally scribed into your book after a day.
Okay.
You can you have to leave your book with them over the night, and you can pick it up in the morning and then travel back to Larishev.
Got it.
So we'll say, all in all, how long does it take to get to Larishev, first of all? Or from Larishev onward. So it's like there. 7 days exactly. So it literally, on a horse, it would take half that time since you're on the road. So there and back would literally be 8 days. Not too bad. So that's not too bad. Tavanta's, how long is Tavanta spending on his family? A week? 2 weeks?
2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Let's call it 2, and if anyone goes over that, we'll call it 3.
Okay. Also, are you still on for more?
I was just I'm trying to get time down in my head.
Okay.
So Chance, your thing doesn't take very long to do so far. Is there anything else you want to use in the other 2 weeks? That, well, I would say like, yeah, it basically took you like 2 days to sort out all the other shit. But in the 2 weeks that people are doing stuff, what are you doing with the rest of your time? Are you researching stuff? Are you,
Yes, actually, I would like to research on, well, that item that we retrieved.
Okay. And where you're going, I'm assuming, to Onyx. Are you going to travel with Flamora to Onyx and get this done?
Yeah, because I assume if I can, because I have access to the library now at the college, so.
Well, you certainly do there, hun. You've got a library card and everything.
So gonna basically do research, like every bit of research I can in the library about the item, and also about Correspond, because that was a bit interesting about what happened there.
Okay. So let's find the research thing in Xanathars and see how much it costs and how much time it takes. Crime, gambling, relaxation, religious service, research. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Typically, a character needs access to a library or a sage to conduct research, which you have. Assuming such access is available, conducting research requires 1 work week of effort and at least 50 gold spent on materials, bribes, gifts, and other expenses. So you're doing this twice. You're doing this twice for 2 different subjects. So you're going to spend 100 gold at the bare minimum. Now your checks can be better if you spend more gold on them, which I will explain now. You declare the focus of the research, specific person, place, or thing. After 1 work week, the character makes an intelligence check with a +1 bonus per 100 gold spent beyond the initial 100 gold to a maximum of +6.
Is it 100 gold per thing, or is it 50 per thing?
It's 100 gold per +1 bonus. So it's 50 gold minimum per time you research. And if you want to spend additional money, you get bonuses.
With this situation, I'm curious to what the cost is coming from, but
it just says like it's a work week worth of effort and 50 gold spent on materials, bribes, gifts, and other expenses. So that can be purchasing a tome that you would need from a bookstore, or ink and paper to keep notes of what you found to keep your thoughts in order, etc.
I'll just research the weapon then, because I basically spent mostly everything on the house right now. So
okay, so looking for the weapon.
Chance travels light in regards to his funding.
That's fine. Are you going to spend just the 50 gold, or are you spending more?
Just the 50.
Okay, so 1 week and 50 gold later. Since you have the library of Onyx, it does say a character who has access to a particularly well-stocked library or knowledgeable sages gains advantage on this check. So you have advantage on your check. It's an intelligence check, straight up.
All right. Oh, intelligence check, no skill modifier?
No, just intelligence flat out.
All right. I do get my profession die here.
Yes.
Wow. Those are some ass rolls.
That's actually not bad. That's the second highest you can get already. So see if you can bump it up.
Wait, it didn't roll the D4. Fuck.
Yeah, I figured it didn't.
15.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so you learn 2 pieces of lore about the item. Each piece of lore is the equivalent of 1 true statement about a person, place, or thing. Examples include knowledge of a creature's resistances, the password needed to enter a sealed dungeon level, the spells commonly prepared by an order of wizards, and so on. Okay. So for this, I will give you the name of the item. Or I will give you, you know what I'll give you? I'll give you several names of the item that you have learned.
Because it's an old thing. It would have gotten multiple names throughout history. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What's another piece of lore I can give you? And I will give you. I'll give you one other thing. So it has been called. Dark Reflection. It has been called the Blade of a Thousand Cuts.
Hold on, I'm jotting this down.
Let me know when you're ready for the next one.
It was the Dark Reflection.
Blade of a Thousand Cuts.
Blade of a Thousand Cuts. All right. Next.
It has also been called Killer's Boon.
All right.
And most commonly, the Blade of Broken Mirrors.
All right.
The second thing you learn is that the reason why the blade is so coveted was because it was one of the reasons why it was coveted so much was not just because of its abilities, but because of the fact that it is an artifact created by an evil god that was granted as a boon to its most devout followers far before the breaking ever happened. You don't know how exactly far back it goes. You don't know when it was created. It could have been created a long time ago. You know that records exist from before the breaking at least 100 years. Not much has been salvaged of it, so there's not really much else to go off of. But you know that it's old, and you know that it's powerful. And obviously with its history, you know why.
Yeah, it's been handed down from like assassin to assassin, and motherfuckers, and it's handed down by virtue of murder.
Yeah.
The next question: if the artifact's really that powerful, the person who has it keeps dying. But
Those are the two things you know.
This is concerning.
So after this, I need you to roll a D100.
Oh no!
Or, I'm
Oh
sorry.
no!
Oh no.
Yeah, D100. Oh yeah, you're fine. Okay. Cool.
I don't feel fine.
No additional
Neither do I.
complications. No additional complications. There's a 10% chance of a complication for every week you spend researching things. So for this 1 week, it was a 10% chance, and you rolled above a 10, so you're good.
Patrick was going to be like, so you look into my shit, huh, kid?
Bet to learn this weapon does the hard way.
God. Okay, Cool. Great. Those are things that you've learned about it.
All right.
I will say, if you wanted to, if you communicated what you were going to go do, Savanta was willing to offer you gold to do research into correspond.
If you
If
want
you
to,
want,
I feel like he would have been forthcoming, like what he was going to be doing. What he was going with the.
that's if you wanted to search for it. I can send you 100.
50.
50.
Unless you want to give him a bonus, in which case it's 150.
What do you want, Spencer? Do you want a bonus? I'm not doing a lot of shit with my cash, right? I'm a druid. I don't need a lot of expensive shit.
I mean, you can give him as many bonuses as you want. You can give him up to +6. So you can give him, if you give him 650 gold, which is a lot, then you can give him the maximum possible bonus on a roll for correspond.
Can I give him a +3 bonus? How much would that cost me?
350.
Because I actually really do want to know about the correspondence to like the core and the chantry and anything. But yeah, so I'll give him +3 bonus to that. So 350. So 35 platinum goes to nothing. Wait, is that how that works? Did I do that math right?
35 platinum is 350 gold, yes.
Hey, I'm not an idiot.
Okay. So we'll spend an extra week on this too. Go ahead and roll your. It's a another d20 +3 intelligence check with advantage because you're in the library.
All right.
Good luck, sir.
That's a 28.
Easy enough. 3 pieces of lore. Also, roll me a d10. Or sorry, a d100 for the complication, just so I know.
Oh no.
Oh no.
There's at least one complication.
Then again.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Then again, I am just researching correspond. But...
we'll see about that. So you learn, obviously, a maximum bonus. 21 plus is 3 pieces of lore about the correspond. Which, I mean, they're not super complicated creatures. They are, in many ways, a mystery. But it is known that correspond were only ever observed and only ever a problem and only ever really existed, as far as anyone knew, after the breaking occurred. Their modus operandi seems to be to, as any insect would, create a hive and grow their numbers and to kidnap people and transform them into correspond. People go missing, the correspond's numbers keep refilling in roughly the same amount every time, so that's an easy extrapolation to make. In addition, the third piece of lore, typically their hives are formed around places where the light of the core of the planet breaks through into the Underdark. And they are usually formed in those places by what are called the correspond seers, which are the creatures with the staves and the magic and the glowing blue crystals and shit growing out of them. The one that you fought at the end of the hive, not the big worm, but the other guy. Those guys are like they display a level of intelligence to them that denotes that they, generally speaking, are the ones in charge of the hive.
And what
forming it and such.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I wanted to know like what the role the queen plays into things if it's the giant fucking worm. But...
So there's not a mention of the queen ever in your research. The seers are the leaders. They're called the seers. They are the leaders. They display a level of intelligence to them and deliberation that is uncharacteristic of the other forms of correspond that have been observed. So it is widely believed that they are the leaders of their respective hives, and essentially the scions of whatever number they control. So that's your three things.
So either the queen's an unknown, or it's just hasn't, or anyone who's seen it just hasn't come back to tell about it.
Yeah. A lot of the times people who encounter correspond don't exactly come back. Now I need you to roll a d6.
Okay. Three.
3. Ooh. Oh man, if you had known that book was cursed, you would have never opened it.
Wait, seriously? The book was cursed? Guys, open a cursed book?
One of the books that you used for your research unfortunately laid a curse upon you. It's time to decide what that curse is.
How's that in the fucking library?
Oh. If you'd known it was cursed, you would have never opened it. Where's my books?
I feel like that's a bit weird how that would be open to the students if there's just a book that can curse people. I feel like that like the school would have, this college would have at least, would vet the books they put in.
That's probably fine. Let's see. Let's go
Like,
to...
this is like a fucking prank curse that some of the students put in just to fuck with somebody. That's the only way I could see one of these books actually getting anywhere.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go to the minor detrimental properties portion of the DMG. I will have you roll a D100, and we'll see what comes up on the D100, and that's what you will have as a curse.
45.
Okay. While attuned to the artifact, but you're not attuned to the artifact, this is a curse that you have upon you. While you are cursed, your weight increases by 1d4 times 10 pounds. So roll a d4.
Shit's getting chunky. Let's go.
Yeah, you ate too many donuts while you were in the library, apparently.
What was it again?
1d4 times 10.
That almost is like college for wizards, Frank.
Cool, 3.
Yeah, you can just. Granted, Chance is already a scrawny motherfucker, so this probably is not that bad.
You get a little bit chunkier. You gain 30 pounds. You got the COVID 30.
I thought it was the COVID 20.
Yeah, well, that's 30 now. So on your character sheet, in the inventory, I want you to add a new item called curse weight, and I want you in the weight section on the far right to put 30 in it. And if you're over encumbered, you're over encumbered, and that's too bad.
Where's the? Oh, okay. I am not.
Okay, well you have 30 extra pounds on you at all times until remove curses used on you, or dispel magic, either one, I don't care.
Just get back to me at the end of the week. I got you, buddy.
I feel like because this is a noticeable curse, but it's not something that's like he's not aware it's happened.
Oh, it's very noticeable. You don't have a neck anymore, my friend, so I don't... You also should change your weight in your character sheet to reflect 30 pounds heavier.
I didn't actually write down his weight. I just thought he was gonna be a scrawny motherfucker.
I mean, if you're scrawny how tall do you think he is? Like 5'6", 5'10"?
5'10".
5'10". Okay, so
no, he's 5'9".
Okay, 5'9". Humanoid creatures usually around there are supposed to be around 160, 170 pounds. So if you're scrawny, call it 150, and then add 30 to that, 180.
I think he's actually more like he's probably a bit up more than scrawny because he does have a positive strength score, so it's probably more like he's probably about 200 right now because of that 30 weight.
Well, I wouldn't say 200. What is your positive strength score? Like +1?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's call it 190. Call it 190 pounds. So you still have a neck. It's just it's not quite as there as it used to be.
Yeah, because Chance has a strength of 12, a dex of 14, and a constitution of 14.
So you're a healthy fat. You got like dad bod going on now.
Chance is going to immediately find a staff member and say, "Hey, I got pranked by a student. Can you help me get rid of this?" Because I am totally flaming this as a student prank because I can't think of any other logic of how that book would have been cursed in a library like this.
I mean, let's find out here. So okay, technically it can be learned by wizards, so that's good. What is a?
You said the spell magic would also work, so.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to see what a standard mage has. Standard mages don't have remove curse on them. I'll substitute fireball because I don't need that, so we'll call it good. Yeah, sure. So at the end of your 2 weeks researching, you find suddenly, and you didn't really notice it at first because you were so engrossed in your stuff and learning. But you get up, you go to put on your pants in the morning, and they don't quite fit anymore, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you find a mirror, and you're like, oh my god, no. And
then you're like, okay.
So
fucking college students, asshats.
Yeah, so they're gonna go ahead and they'll cast remove curse on you after that. It's gonna take.
Are they gonna charge me for it, or?
Yeah, they're gonna charge you for it.
Really? They're gonna charge me for a student prank? Okay.
Yeah, of course, because they have to take time out of their day to fucking cast a spell on your dumbass. According to them.
I would at least ask for it.
Obviously, if you didn't know the book was cursed, you wouldn't have picked it up. But because that's what the text says. But yeah, we'll say they'll charge you just like 10 gold.
Fine. 10 gold don't do this.
they basically take a bribe. They're like, how much is it worth to you? You're like, I don't know, 10 gold. And you're like, okay, fine, that's good enough.
Alright, so I can remove the curse weight.
Sure, yeah. Why not? You can pay for it.
He goes from 190 back down to a healthy weight of 160.
Sure, that's fine. Alrighty.
Okay.
So that's
now
so essentially we're at a total of 3 weeks of downtime at this point. Both Tavanta and Flamora have time within that 3 weeks that they can spend if they wish. Flamora, you have 1 week. Tavanta, you have all 3 basically. Is there anything else you want to do? Going once. Both muted, so I can't tell if you're talking. Going twice. 2.5. Okay, cool. Nobody responded to me, so I'm assuming that no one else wants to do anything. Therefore, we can get back on track. So, reconvening after your weeks away, the better part of a month later, the next portion of your adventure is before you. What that portion is, that's up to you guys. I don't know what exactly you want to do next, where you're all going there as a group. But I'll leave that up to you guys to decide.
Chance would report his findings to the group about the correspond and about the weapon.
Sure. It could be common knowledge. I will also say at some point during your downtime, Strollvan would be like, hey, by the way, I'm retiring. I don't want to do this no more. Bye. However he wants to do that. We can do a flashback to how that actually happened when Jay is here to give the goodbye. But as of coming back from this downtime, we will consider Strollvan no longer part of the party.
All right.
I just pictured the back of Chance's mind. He's just fucking partying, like, well, I don't do this motherfucker no more.
For the most part, he's still gonna be around.
Yeah, he's still gonna be.
He's house sitting.
Yeah, he's still gonna be there.
He's essentially house sitting for you. How he's going to continue to earn his rent, I don't know. He'll do work, I guess.
I mean, hey, if you can't run, that's good. Excuse the boot him.
He has training as a courtier, so I guess he'll do that.
Is he gonna be the steward for the steward?
Oh, maybe he'll be a steward for someone else. Okay. So discuss what exactly are the next steps here.
Oh, are we done with downtime?
I gave you all. I did a 1, 2, 3 countdown. Nobody answered me, so.
Oh, I was. My dad wanted to go outside, so I had to wheel him out there and get his stuff.
Okay. Well, you have essentially 3 weeks to do stuff, so whatever you want to do.
Before Chance and them go to Onyx, I wanted to send a letter with them to Dryalis,
Okay.
basically saying that my research in the core is about to commence, basically, and I will gladly share my findings with you. Basic stuff like that. And just make sure, and to let them know if they have anything that they need as well, please send word. And then I will go to Providence and basically not only just, take time to be with my children and family and make sure, to foster that relationship, but I want to kind of invest in the community of Providence. So, I'll talk to the Archmage, say, hey, is there anything I can do to, kind of build this up a bit more? You want me to put some, if it is okay if I pour some money into the community, XYZ, stuff like that. And then I'll, of course, hand them over the Arcanite that we have for research.
Yeah. As for the matter of your involvement in the community, I mean, surely just having you out there as a positive force is doing wonders for us. The town is, I mean, we came here with the goal of having plenty of self-sufficient people aboard our craft, and several of them remain. The town is doing as well as ever. You can do what you wish with it, but we honestly don't really need it, thriving as we are. As for the matter of your Arcanite, though, I can assure you that I will take a very good look at this. And if there's something worth reporting, I'll let you know. There's not a whole lot here, I must say. I may, of course, require additional samples, but I'll do what I can with what you've given me.
Of course. I would also like to divulge the artifact that we retrieved for Hadrian and the process that took. So talk to him about the Chorus Farm we found, the big ass fucking worm, the weird altar, and just a point of interest of what's going on, and basically giving him like, hey, this is what's going on in the world that we're interacting with.
Well, that's certainly a terrifying prospect. I can't imagine that I really feel safe now that living in a cave. Not ideal if there are giant worms roaming underground, but I suppose we'll have to make do. As for that artifact,
to be specific regarding this artifact, so
according to what you've told me, and from what I've heard of old stories about it, it's not a pretty weapon. Not exactly a glorious pillar of virtue, that one. From what I know of it, it's changed hands more often than not, and each time it has, it's been to someone worse than the previous user.
I'll keep an eye on him. Don't do that.
Do it if you must, but I would keep your distance if I were you.
I'll take that into consideration. But otherwise, once I've been here for a bit, I'm going to try to conduct a personal research into the poor, so I'm going to go look for the Chantry.
All right. Well, I wish you
Yeah,
luck. I hear some strange static over the airwaves here. It's very strange. Flamora,
Is it coming from me?
no. It's Flamora. You are like fingernails on a chalkboard right now, my guy, in the background.
Oh, Matt.
Is that better?
Yes,
Nice.
I no longer hear interference. Well,
I
I
hear
wish you
the
good luck on your
static.
research. Thank God it stopped. It was getting annoying. All right. Yeah, certainly. Keep me posted if it's relevant. But
Yes.
understanding this, understanding what is at the core of this planet may be the solution to uncovering the skies above it. So we never know.
Right. I'll definitely keep you posted. And he waves the little sending stone. Yeah. So that's where I'm headed at. And then I'm just going to, engage with the community, help out where I can, if any help, do typical druid work and spend some time with my family and catch up. My kiddos keep getting bigger, and
there's honestly not much for you to do, my guy. Like this, the town is doing just fine.
The most self-sufficient fuckers.
Yeah, every single person on that boat was handpicked to be able to survive in the harshest climate that people could possibly imagine. The hellscape that was left on this chunks of rock that were held together by the magic of several gods. And turns out you didn't need a lot of it. So a lot of people are actually like, the town is like it's bustling. It's growing even. Every time you come back, every month, there seems to be a new plot of land that's designated for a new house to be built, or a new sectioned off area for a farm that someone's constructing, or stuff like that. Like they got a working blacksmith, like up and running and selling stuff. Like it's a shop and not just a quartermaster. They have an inn where traveling merchants have been coming to stay the whole time you've been there, trade whatever goods the town has managed to do.
And some people, Livingston is gone clearly now.
Yeah, some people have even moved away from the town. Like they're going off to explore this new world that they've lived in. They're migrating to other cities.
A whole new world.
Yeah, they're taking the magic carpet ride.
Disney can suck my nuts.
Disney's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're going to for all this fucking work whenever we get sued, motherfucker.
It's fine. All hail Overlord Mickey. That's all. All hail the Magic Mouse. Okay.
So
yeah, there's honestly not much for you to do. If you want to just take like 3 weeks to do stuff with your family, you can.
Let's just do that.
What I will say is that this is a good time for like a good like taking stock of your family. Your kids especially have done some growing up in the last 6 months.
They're fucking big now. God damn it.
It's only been 6 months, so they're not that big. But they are coming up on a birthday. Your eldest is coming up on his birthday in the next month or so.
That's
How old are your kids gonna be? How old are your kids?
I don't
10 and 8.
I have miscellaneous.
I think that's what we said.
Good paid.
I have no ages written down for anyone. You did not give me ages.
I would like to point out there's probably like fucking academies for like kids and shit like that. You could put your kids in like a school or something.
Well, that's what I was going to mention too. Is that as they've been growing up, initially they were helping mom with like growing food and stuff, druid things. As the town has become more self-sufficient, they have branched off into areas of interest that are new to you, but that your wife, Omari, has been nurturing while you're gone. Let's say your oldest, which I believe is Tita, right?
Tita.
He's the one with the dog, right? You gave him a dog.
Gave him a puppy.
Yeah, he has a dog. The dog is a spectral dog and has been growing along with him. It still has the puppy energy, but it's a bigger dog than you remember giving to him in the first place. It changes according to him, it looks like. But with his companion, he has actually been taking an interest in the hunters. People who go out into the forest and hunt for food and bring it back and sell it. You skin the fur and all that fun stuff. Sell the fur to traders and cook the meat for themselves and provide for the thing. So,
our boy multi-classic.
Yeah. So your son's going like way of the ranger here while you're gone.
Hell yeah.
The second one is a girl, right? It's Ari.
It's Ari. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She's younger of the two. Younger of the two. She's still kind of helping mom out a bit. Keeping the house clean of garbage and refuse and moldy crap. Making mulch and returning it back to you, the little farm that your family has, a little garden your wife has been keeping up that gives them food. But while you're there, she asks you to read to her several stories that essentially Amari has bought from traveling merchants. Storybooks, legend books.
Your daughter's gonna be a bard.
And specifically, she's been focused on tales of the great heroes of the war between Netria and Onyx. Shining knights in gleaming armor, riding valiant steeds, and all that fun stuff. So she's very like romanticized by the idea of the knight in shining armor archetype. She asks for several. No, it's so a lot of them are war stories of like the evil bad guys attacked from the skies and the land and tried to wrest their control of their home away from the people who rightfully ruled it. But these great heroes of the golden age of the Onyx Empire rose up to defend their land, even though they didn't succeed in the end. And there are several stories that you read. There's one about a great knight. There's one about a famous admiral, who sounds fairly familiar. There's one about a great general who was kind of the leader of them all. That kind of thing.
All right. I'm definitely gonna have to try to get back in time for the birthday. My boy. Okay, so he is getting into hunting, right?
Yep.
Does he have his own bow?
Yep. He has either been given, crafted, or bought a short bow, child size, that he can use to hunt rabbits and such. And he uses his dog companion to retrieve as a hunting companion as well.
I was gonna pimp him out with a badass bow for a kid.
I mean, any short bow size for a normal human is probably a long bow for him. He's probably not strong enough to draw it yet. He's got baby's first bow. He's probably 10, right? Like we're thinking about 10 years old.
Yeah, I had him down. I had him down in my notes as 11, sure. And 2 years difference from his sister, so she's 9.
So 11 and 9. Fantastic. That's exactly what I was going for. So 11 and 9, your son's about to turn 12 in about a month and a half. just as a heads up. And this is going into now the winter equivalent. So the days are getting colder, noticeably colder weather. Even though it's like California winter. Like it really only gets colder by like 10 degrees, and it doesn't snow. It rains slightly more often than normal, but you can notice it as a definite weather shift.
Right.
Obviously, nothing as crazy as what would normally happen during a normal weather cycle in parts of the world that are not temperate all year round, like California is. But nonetheless, something noticeable does happen. So, yeah, your kid's probably, at this point, let's see, you grew up kind of in a forest, so this is probably his first birthday without snow that he's going to have, which is going to be an interesting.
Right. Oh God, forest.
Yeah,
I got some sorry terrain. I want to do some shit. I'm gonna send some shit.
No birthday snowman.
No birthday.
Yeah, unless you got control weather, my friend. I'm afraid that's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna at least, yeah. I have plans to be pretty show out with this stuff.
So
Actually,
yeah, so
have control weather.
I'll just say that's stuff that happens for your kids. About a month and a half is what you're looking in order to make his birthday.
Right.
Whatever you want to do in the meantime, that's up to you. It doesn't. It matters how much time you spend out on the road, my friend. Because this core thing could pull you down a rabbit hole. The key definitely is going to pull you down a rabbit hole. You know that for sure. So just want you to keep that in the back of your mind.
It's your kid's birthday because you were too busy doing shit.
Oh, that's not gonna happen. I guarantee. Even if we're in the middle of a dungeon or some shit, I will leave.
Just gotta make sure. At this point in time, if you're traveling to go and find what the core is doing, just as a heads up, if you're taking Providence, you can actually cut through the forest here and travel down this way. If you're traveling just roughly into the area of where you need to go, we'll travel to one of the 5. It's 12 cut in half. It's 6. It's a week's travel, plus whatever you're gonna do in this area, plus a week back by horse.
I have a question. What did I miss?
I'm doing
Everything.
Tavanta's downtime special shit.
Okay.
You have after your bout with spells, you have about 1 week out of the 3 that has already been spent. That is not accounted for. So if you want to spend a week or 2 doing something, let me know.
I'm good.
Okay, so you're just fucking around for a week. Sounds good. Okay. Let me do this. Since it sounds like downtime is basically wrapping up, I'll give you guys the option. I want you to think this over and discuss amongst yourselves while I go to the bathroom real quick. If you really are dead set on making your kid's birthday and not having it be an issue, you can always take a month and a half of downtime. I don't care. Like I said, you can take as much downtime as you want to. It just means that there's a month and a half of time that people are not accounted for, which means that I do taxes for Hunter again when he comes back. When he gets some money.
A month and a half of downtime, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's up to you. If you want to just say, no, fuck it, I think we can go do this core thing and then come back and then be fine, then sure, we can do that too. I can't guarantee that there's a lot of stuff there or what rabbit holes you can safely follow without missing it. But that's the thing, and I want you to all discuss that as a team because you're all going on this together because that's what the adventure is. So I'll be right back. I'm going to pause the recording. You discuss that, and I will be back with the verdict.
Was the month and a half of downtime, but me as a player, I need a week to try to plan how I'm going to make that birthday badass.
Yeah.
So I want to plan that out. It's going to take me a bit because the character may be intelligent and wise, but the player ain't. You know what I mean? So,
like, if we're out and about, you do still have your sending stone, so you could at least call and say, "Hey, happy birthday! I'm sorry I can't be there, but
no,
you in spirit."
I I don't know about that one.
No, I'm not gonna be that dad. It's like, hey, sorry, bro, you couldn't make it to your birthday. No, I'm not gonna be that fucking dad.
Yeah,
Hell no.
be like, hey, I'm taking my
I'm in
friends
the
are.
middle of a dungeon, son. Sorry, you're not important enough. Then there's a loot I'm about to get. No.
Currently a life or death fight right now, but I still figured I'd call it happy birthday.
No.
He hears like Eldritch screaming in the background.
No, I show up. Savanta is a dad who shows up. This is what.
Hey, better dad than mine.
Okay, that got a little real.
That was dark fast.
That got real. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the first gang. It's cool. It's cool. Hey, it's
Look,
cool. It's
Look,
cool.
I'm at the
Hey,
stage where I'm just making fun of the fact my dad's a shitter. So.
It's cool. It's cool. But like, so that's kind of my headspace right now, VG. I would probably go for the obvious choice is to go for the month and a half, but I don't have an idea of how I'm going to make that badass right now, and I want to actually dedicate time to it because I remember whenever we had, I assume the recording's off, I don't know, when we had that discussion about my character, I'm like, no, Tavanta's a good dad who wants to show up and be there. Like, he's made sure to take long spells of time to be with his family. He wants to show up as much as possible, but also he wants, he's also sad. He's also a little selfish, and he's okay with that, of satisfying his, thirst for knowledge. He's also working on a project to try to make a more interesting world for his children. And so he wants to be there. He wants to be a part of their lives. He's not just going to be the, hey, Sean, sorry for the make it, dad,
Something we could do is, for sake of expediency, we could just say you do that, and then you can next session you can say like what that thing was. If we want to keep things moving.
Yeah, we can say it happens. We don't have to make it an actual thing that we do in role play. Or we can do that. We can do that as a flashback next week at the beginning of session.
If we could do that, that would be badass. I will, in anticipating that my brain is going to come up with something fucking insane, I'm going to put aside 20 platinum.
Oh God. Okay. Well, 200 gold. 200 gold budget. Sounds good. That's more than people.
What are you gonna do?
Years.
Get your 10-year-old fucking hookers? What?
Why does your mind go to that? What the fuck? She's 11.
I'm trying to think of what the fuck you can do with 200 gold for a kid's party.
That's next year. That's next year.
Cushion.
Look, when he turns 13 and becomes a man, you can get him a hooker from the Setting Sunstone because you have it in town.
Like fuck.
Just buy old man Jenkins' daughter to give him a lap dance on his birthday for his 13th.
Like that's more than what some people. That's more than what some people like make in the sense. More than what some people make in like their entire lives. They might not see 200 gold.
Oh yeah, no, that's 20. No, that's 200 years of. No, that's like 15 years of wages roughly for a farmer, right? Something like
Look, Savanta has worked hard for his wealth. I know me, the player, is sometimes a very extra motherfucker. So I'm putting 200 gold inside to play with just in case that I go too fucking crazy. But
whatever you won't do.
It's my fucking money that I earned from nearly dying on multiple occasions. I will spend it however the fuck I want. Sure. And if that's by my kid, like 17
I get it.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine.
Yeah.
Come up with things by next week, and VG can do the same thing with the taxes. Let's just because I want to get started on fucking the next thing I'll actually do.
Well, so here's the thing. So a month and a half is going to pass in time, and two very important things are going to happen during that time. One is the birthday party. And
that's probably the king's gonna die. King's dead.
Yeah. Two is that your taxes don't happen because the king dies. Finally, after months of blue balls, at some point towards the the 5th or 6th week. This is after the birthday party. At some point during the 5th or 6th week of this downtime, month and a half long period, Um, there are military soldiers, King's Guard, riding through the town. There's basically like a whole fucking procession that happens, and in them doing this, it's literally like 20 or so dudes, and a crier, and like a host of servant people to keep them all fed and stuff as they camp, as they do like this tour along the provinces to announce the death of the king. And in the center of Larishev at one point, probably while Tavanta is out buying groceries for for whatever reason, or while someone's out doing something in the town, essentially declare, after a long and hard fought illness, King Mestra Onik, regent of this land, has passed away in his sleep, of natural causes. And forthwith, the taxes will be taken for this month from each town within the borders of Onyx territory to pay for the royal funeral. And in the coming months, an heir to the throne will be chosen among the king's 3 remaining sons.
There's the one who eats his paycheck. There's the one who is actually a decent guy from what we know. Yeah. And then there's the one with the territory that has really harsh punishments. That's what I remember off the top of my head.
There's the shithole, there's go to Gulag, and then there's this guy.
Huh. It's not like we have an influence on that, but
we don't. All I know is I'm not getting money this month. I'm kind of sad.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
But that is the way things shake down. Unfortunately for you, and probably for the kingdom. Alrighty, I'm sure Redka's not very happy about this either. To be fair.
Yeah, because that means he can't spend his taxes on food and booze and hookers.
It's one less house party through that month. All right, so in the wake of all this, and after the announcement is made, your own plans kick into effect essentially, and you guys travel for places. I don't know what your exact destination is. That's kind of up to you to pick.
Yeah. We're gonna probably hit, like, I would say, where are we? We're in Providence, and it's more towards like Migran and Sermonville, right? Guile, around that area.
Well, no. So it's basically this little peninsula right here, right here ish.
All right, so we can at least head to Pobouge and like start working from there.
Would you guys be in Providence for the 2 weeks following the party or so? Or would you have gone back to Larishev at some point?
Chance would have gone back to Larishev.
Are you meeting in Larishev or are you meeting in Providence?
We meet in Larishev.
Okay, so we'll count travel as from Larishev then. So, immediately, essentially, you're looking to go, essentially, basically, possibly along this route first. You're going to go essentially to Otakov.
Okay.
Which will take roughly a week. Well, a week without horses. With horses, it's 3 days. 3.5 days. You'll get to Otakov at basically nightfall.
I can fuck with that.
Yeah.
Let me find that place in my trusty notes that I definitely wrote down somewhere. There's background.
You know,
Oldclough.
on my kid. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Oldclough, not a huge town. It's mostly a trade town. More of a pit stop than anything. Seeing as it is like the one city that leads to the main three that are on the coast of this portion of Cernan province.
By the way, are we expected to do anything with the king's death? Like, is nobility? Is there any expectation on my end of things?
I mean, you're expected to show up for the funeral. That's going to happen eventually, which will coincide with the crowning of the new king, which you will be informed about when it happens, aka when I plan it. So, because I have the event down, but I don't have what actually happens yet.
This won't interrupt any of our plans.
That depends on what your plans end up being. I don't know. We're in uncharted territory, my friend.
We're in the end game now.
Yeah, well, I don't know about endgame, but that's again up to you guys. We can go for as long as you want to on this shit. So anyway, Odalkov, mostly traveling merchants here. A lot of the places in this place it's like small stuff. There's not a lot here. There's a big inn where it has a ton of lodging for all the merchants and their crew that travel through this place.
Wait, where are we going to again? What was it? What was the place?
This is Odalkov. It's a pit stop basically on your way to the other towns.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, on the
There, Shev, through Kobush to Otokov, then.
Mm-hmm. And then on to one of the three is where you'll be going next. But I want to.
What's the little symbol over Negron?
It's a port. It's a skyship port.
Yo.
Anyway, so there's three basic shops here that service the traveling merchants that pass through this area and make their living off of them. Essentially, there is the Silver Siren, which is the inn and tavern. It's a pretty big lodge style building, where the front half of it, I should say, is a tavern with ample seating, plenty of tables, lots of different varieties of meat and beer and stuff like that. And then through a back door, there is a collection of rooms. This is a one-story building. It's just very, very long and warehouse-like. That is owned by there's a dwarven bartender that runs that with her staff. Then there is Baron's Workbench. That's Barend. Barend. Run by the titular Baron Derdak, who is a dwarven blacksmith / woodworker, who mainly repairs busted carts and bowstrings and such, as well as reshoeing horses and making nails and fixing, blades and shit that have broken or have dulled. And then there is the Prismatic Kiss, which is an alchemy shop run by a human alchemist. Single-story brick building, which adjacent to it has a small herb garden that she uses to craft just basic healing potions and cure disease filters and stuff like that for the traveling merchants who get sick or injured along the way. Other than that, there's a couple of other private domiciles. This is not a big town. Mostly it's run by the council of three here who run the three biggest businesses in town and decide how things work because they're the ones who get the most amount of trade and interact with people on the road the most. So if you have need of, basic healing potions, anything basic wooden or metal, or a place to stay, that's what you'll be doing. Lodging for the night there, you're looking at like 5 silver a person. So for the 3 of you, that's 1.5 gold total.
I'll
If you
pay
guys
my
want to mark that
silver.
off your sheets at some point.
How much is it?
We'll call it. Just take off 1 gold each because you would have to stay in Kobuj as well. I assume you'd want to stay at the inn there. Now I want to ask you guys: are you just pit stopping here and leaving, or are you going to interact with the locals at all?
We don't really have a direction of which town to go yet. So,
You might want to ask about the Chantry.
yeah, Devonta would ask around about the Chantry and where he could go to find out more information about that. Since they're closer to these edge cities, they would probably have general knowledge. At least 3 big businesses, maybe talk to their owners and stuff.
Okay.
Maybe the owner of the tavern, since we're interacting with them the most right now.
Okay. So that is Darif Trollbleeder, the female dwarven bartender and proprietor. Wow. Okay. I rolled this. I rolled a history check to see if she had interacted with and remembers any of the traveling. What do you call it?
Priests.
Not a priest. It starts with like an M or something.
Mission.
Missionaries.
Missionary. Ah.
Missionaries of the core. She got a natural 20, so she can tell you.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly, they've come through town a couple times, back and forth through here. They mentioned they typically dock off of Migran, where they have their little church set up, and they're spreading the gospel or whatever. Struck me as strange folk, but nice enough, and their coin was good, so no complaints here.
Strange but not threatening.
No, I haven't seen their kind around for very long. They've really not been as prominent on the roads as they have in recent years. I'd say the last probably 5 years they've been increasing their presence, but before that they really just stuck to their small chapels and churches on the edges of cities and such.
It's not a Migran, you said.
Aye, Migran. Yeah, they like to dock off there, and they've established a church there. I guess they typically travel from abroad and spread their holy whatever about the core to whoever will listen, and seem to have found a home in Migran at least.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I can't tell you more about them, but I'm not a devout, so.
Neither am I. This is. I very much appreciate your help. So, I don't know.
She kind of like leans in and holds out a hand. She leans in an open palm, like, tip me, bitch.
I know. I was really getting to it. Gonna flip her a couple gold.
Oh, thank you kindly. If you need anything, let me know. She goes off and serves a group of rowdy Aarakocra who show up.
Oh yeah, what's the is the general? I know because sometimes you said have huge population of lizard folk or dragonborn? Is there like, as we're getting closer to the shores and stuff, are we seeing a lot more Arakocra or?
Yeah, you're seeing a lot more collections of them. They don't really travel too far inland. They do most of their trading on the edges of the towns if they can, and then head back where they came from, because it's it's an international shipping thing. But there does appear to be a group of traveling Arakocra here that stick out amongst the crowd. Like most of the crowd in here is human, dwarf, a couple of half elves, a couple good amount of halflings. I wouldn't say they're the most prominent, but they're noticeable. Which is saying something, because they don't really stand very tall. So mostly human and dwarf, I would say, is the general makeup, and then amongst the human population, a good amount of half elves too that just kind of are there. So standard fare in Nodelkov. A lot of the traveling quote unquote merchants are people who have been displaced, or people who've found a life on the road, and humans and half elves just are generally speaking akin to that. Dwarves are craftsmen, so they travel with merchants. Sometimes dwarves are shrewd businessmen. Either they own the business or they're hired by it to keep their shit running while they're on the road. So yeah, they are flamboyant. At least they are. I can describe them for you. Actually, I have general descriptions for the Aarakocra castes system. Let's see. Sub-races. What was that? Was it history settings? I think. Lore.
Yeah, they have like a food caste system, like the type of bird you are.
Yeah, type of bird you are determines your replacement in society, essentially.
I thought that was only with our people. Is that just general Aarakocra shit?
That's with the Aarakocran people. Okay. Not with anyone else. These guys would be Laren Aarakocra, which, generally speaking, are colored like songbirds. So they're blue jays, robins, larks, and such. So there's a blue jay and a robin, red and blue, and there is a I don't know what else is a songbird, like a sparrow, I guess, maybe a cardinal. Let's do a cardinal. There's a cardinal as well. That seems to be the leader of their group. It's a trio of traveling Aarakocran merchants.
With my passive and stuff, and the observer feed, just like reading their lips, is there anything interesting they're talking about? Because they're like, you said that the dwarven lady show leader went to facilitate them, and we've been staying there for a day. Is there anything I pick up from them, especially because they're like they don't look like they're from around these parts, so they might have something interesting.
I want you to think about that sentence one more time and tell me why birds would have lips.
What?
You said I want to read their lips. They don't got lips, my friend. I don't know what you're talking about.
So
if you want to passively observe their conversation, I don't know about passively. I would call this an active check, so I would say perception.
Okay. Technically, it says if you can see a creature's mouth while it is speaking a language, I understand. I can interpret it.
Yeah, sure. And I'm asking you to pay attention to their conversation with an active check.
Okay. Perception. I
just thought it was funny. It was like birds with lips is like a weird thought. I don't really want to think about that, to be honest.
Delicious bird lips. Anyway.
Lips. Isn't that a cool
I rolled a 4.
Well, 16 is fine. They are generally. So first of all, they're speaking Orin. I don't know if you understand Orin.
I do not, bro.
Okay, well they're speaking Orin, and that's what you know.
I for sure do not know that one.
Yeah, unless you got
lots of whistling and like windy sound.
Yeah, it's whistling and bird chirps. It's their own personal dialect of Orin.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
And
I just wanted to play some cool shit.
what I will say is, give me an insight check as well.
I'm decent at those. I'm gonna use. Hold on. This is. Hold on. Cool. I have.
Wheel.
Cosmic. Yeah, I got wheel, so I'm gonna boost it with wheel.
Sure. Use
You're a
resources
man.
while you got it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a day. It's fine. I can add a d6 to this.
Okay.
My inside is a +4. Well, that's a natural 20.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Let's roll that d4, shall we? I was hoping that was a 6. And it's 26 insight.
Okay. Well, you can tell that they're talking shit about everyone else at the bar. Like they're openly and vocally mocking everyone in whatever in the language that they're speaking. You can't tell what they're saying, but you can definitely tell that they're like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Look at this fucking guy walking on 2 legs, can't fly, kind of thing.
Oh, so they're pricks.
Yeah. They're like the group of people who know another language at your school that openly talk shit about people because they know that the majority of the school can't understand it, so they just think they're talking whatever language.
I desperately want to just do some shit, but I don't know. I don't think Savanta's that petty.
They definitely make like a couple of hand gestures that probably could like denote something super rude.
Should I cast polymorph from one of them?
no.
Are you sure you want to try and do that?
What'd you say?
Sir?
What'd you say, Fish?
I said, are you sure?
Of course I'm not sure. This is not Savanta who wants to. This is Devin who is petty. You're very petty, motherfucker. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna like just mention that to the party, but I'm not gonna do shit about it. Maybe you can say because you have your demonic friend back, right? You have Moyle back, right? Chance.
Oh yeah,
So you can send Moyle to fuck with them.
I can do several things.
Yeah,
What's in it
you
for
can
me?
do.
I can do
I'm not doing. I'm just giving you that information and putting that idea in your head because I can't facilitate that with my character.
I could also do some things, I think.
Well, the thing is, Chance does not have the insight. He's not a wise person. So he can't actually probably
Oh
tell
no,
if they're
I'm
talking
telling
shit.
you guys that I'm telling you guys what they're doing.
Unless anyone has primordial on their list, you don't have a hope of understanding what they're saying.
Chance looks to Moyle, and I feel like for probably like a good second there on the same wavelength of fuck these birds. That don't even have the balls to talk shit to their face.
Oh, they are talking shit to their face, just in another language.
It's
I mean,
cowardice.
that's just what they do, man. That's what they do.
I have a distinct memory of being in high school and being my chubby self and people thinking that I don't know Spanish and openly calling me like gordo or gordito. And I'm like, motherfuckers, I know what you're saying. And they'll just like stare at me. I don't have the ability to recreate that.
Hey, man, I like
Moyle?
Oreos. It's a good snack.
Moyle,
Yes.
remember the rules I told you?
No maiming or killing.
As long as you stick to those two, go nuts.
Very well. Moyle gets up and leaves the bar.
Oh no!
I mean, he can't go all that far, but I feel like we're probably gonna get a similar situation at the A similar situation of the entrails in your sleeping bag.
You can watch him if you want to, but he's off doing his own thing.
I mean, if I'm really that curious, I can fucking
to see the fruits of his labor, please.
All right.
I don't know what the question was. Are you watching?
Can we stay next?
Are you just do you want me to come back with the aftermath, or do you want me to describe the process?
I want you to come back with that. I personally want you to come back with.
I want the aftermath because like Chance will probably like.
Okay, so we'll say.
Yeah, we'll spend the night there. Just let Moyle have some fun, with the purpose of antagonizing the fuck out of these birds.
In the morning, you are awoken, not at the normal time, but definitely earlier than you had expected, by the petulant squawking of 3 very annoyed bird people. Since this is basically a lodging, everyone on the first floor hears it as well. Exiting your rooms to discover what the ruckus was, you see 3 completely nude, plucked, completely naked chickens blaming each other in the hallway and getting into a chicken slap fight with their little stick arms. They are absolutely livid. You have never seen a person ever this angry.
Chance will look to Moyle. This is fucking great.
I didn't expect this to go that far, but that's perfect. Oh, dude, no, I'm happy.
Yeah, Chance is having to fight down his laughter, but he's at least able to keep his composure enough for us to get out of the inn before he busts out laughing.
Once we get out of the
I
inn,
do best. It's penitence.
Once I do that, I give Moyle just a stack of like 13 gold.
Yeah. I will say that on the next day's travel, when you make camp for the night, at the end of this day's journey, each of you has a pillow, a new pillow, stuffed with multicolored down.
This is great.
Which one of you wants the blue one?
I'll take the blue one. He was talking the most. He made a gesture that looked like horns. I'll take that one.
Sure.
That's the meanest shit I get in a D&D game. That's the meanest shit I've done.
That made the. Even if we get no coin from this venture or nothing happens of note, that alone will make this whole thing worth it.
That was great. Thank you, VG.
Amazing.
Thank you, VG. I don't know what the process was, and I'm really curious. That was amazing.
The process was me having no sleep and needing to come up with something on the fly, and taking the short way rather than taking the long way. This is what that was. Okay, so Migran, you guys are going there, I'm assuming, because that's where you were pointing to.
Right.
Notes are things that I have.
Do we ever get names for those? I want.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Great.
A blue jay, a cardinal, and
Blue jay, a cardinal, and a robin, I believe is what I said.
a robin. My notes are: we fucked over three aristocrats who were talking shit. Street justice.
Red bird, blue bird, brown bird, with red plumage. All right, cool. Migran. Migran is a relatively prosperous, bustling port town, and it is here where you get the next glimpse of the open sea and the general vibe of the town here. So I want to make clear that at the moment, and on the map you can kind of see it, this kind of white gray outline along the coast. That is a perpetual fog bank that sits at sea level, surrounds the entirety of the coast. Further out, the fog bank gets less thick, but essentially, anytime you have a view of the cliff's edge, you are looking out onto just a gray, cloudy expanse, at least for now. Wherein several ships are docked at the port or coming into port. Several sky ships are coming and going at any given time in Migron. You can see a couple of them arriving and taking off as you approach the city, several different times before you get to the gates. The city itself is walled, kind of in like a half moon structure around the borders of the city, with these like tall, probably 30-foot high stone walls with towers every 100 yards or so, spaced out along the wall, each one with ballistae on them that you can see, that are pointed out toward the open sea, not necessarily at the road where you're coming from. As you get into town, and the guards let you pass, we have business with whatever, and they're like, cool, awesome. You guys go riding into town, and it's fairly cramped inside. Like, they built the wall, and then places started to expand, and it got kind of cramped with the buildings. So a lot of the places are like very narrow alleyways if it's not a main street, and a lot of the buildings here, with the added moisture, are constructed of mostly stone, so as not to have rotting wood be a problem in most cases. So you can see like cramped stone buildings essentially next to each other, rank and file, spread out in what is a haphazard grid toward the wall, and getting gradually more and more rigid and precise as you go toward the coast. As you travel through town, there are at this point several notices that have been nailed to posts, doors, the sides of buildings. There are several criers in the streets. The king is dead. The king is dead. Like, the whole town is being, it's being broadcast everywhere. The word has gotten here, and somebody's been printing off flyers, basically. It looks as if like the word has just gotten to Migron as you did. It's being broadcast as much as it can. So you would arrive here roughly midday, probably. If not like early afternoon. Are you going right to the church? Are you going to do some exploring? Are you going to do other things? You're going to hurl yourself off the edge and create a new character? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just going to take a running. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to yell Geronimo and try to reach the core that way.
Geronimo.
Fuck you. How dare you?
Geronimo.
How motherfucking dare you? I hate that it was funny. I hate it. Anyways, if you guys want to get a feel for the city real quick, that's cool. If not, we can just...
Sure. Why not explore the city?
What'd you say?
Why not explore the city?
Yeah, let's get to especially because we can like see where the Chantry is, how much it has influence in the city. Let's scope everything out. Let's see all the businesses and everything, and then we could kind of check out the port and get a general cost for skyships because we're gonna need to look into that for the future.
Yeah. See how much those bastards cost.
Looks like Migron is gonna be our exit and entry point for that whole process.
Yeah, because on the itinerary, what we need a skyship for, we need to go to that what we can only assume is a floating island.
Can only assume.
You need to go to Chance's continent to go do his shit.
Yeah, we need to go to Araval.
What? Oh yeah, so you can finally do your little background mappy bullshit. It's not bullshit. I mean, it's very good work. Thumbs up. Savant is trying to be a sportive teammate.
All right. Okay, so you're gonna head basically toward the Migron air dock, which is where most of the businesses are concentrated in the city. There are a number of them. Your standard fare, alchemy shop, tchotchke shop, fucking general stores. There are I forget what you call them in a shipyard, but like places that supply raw materials for ships to carry with them, like lumber and nails and such. You can repair your
Shipyard?
Yeah, the shipyard, but there's a specific name for a shop that sells that shit, and I can't remember what it is.
Not a quarter. It's
not a quartermaster. I don't know what it is, but it's something that I don't care about.
Insert appropriate word here.
Yeah, whatever that word is, I'm sure someone will know it. Someone who's not on 0 hours of sleep since yesterday. What was I gonna say? Okay, so a couple things stand out to you. One, if you're looking for a hub of scum and sailors, you're looking for the Hunter's Flagon. Hunter's Flagon is essentially it's a shabby, not very well taken care of inn that is the dive bar most popular among sailors that come to and go from Migron. You also have you have the air dock itself, which has sailors and merchants of all different kinds traveling to and from. You see a couple of different sky ships already docked there, and a couple of them arriving as you arrive. You can kind of distinguish between which ones are from where based on the general vibe of the ship. If you're looking at a galleon, you're looking at something local, something from Cernan province or Onik in general. If you're looking at something that is very like...
I gotta take this call, it's my mom.
Go ahead. If you're looking for something that's very over the top, gilded wings strapped to the side of the ship, and pearly white sails with symbols emblazoned upon them, and big flags hung from several different places. You're looking at a Netrian, specifically a Nimbin ship. That's what you're looking at there, and it's almost always crewed by Aarakocra.
Right. Don't tell me all Aarakocra are like frigs we met.
I mean, not all, but some. Clearly, at least 3 of them are. And then there are a couple of them that are, can only be described as diesel punk monstrosities. Just it's twisted, haphazardly applied iron plating and rusted spikes and broken wood and horrible, like, disgusting smell that pervades it for miles around. And That is one ship in particular, and it is crewed by several smelly, disgusting goblins. This thing is it doesn't have any sails. It has two gigantic smokestacks that are just belching out this black cloud of horribleness. And you can see in between the iron plating, toward the front of the ship, there is kind of like this odd orange glow that comes from between the plating.
Some weird shit happening in there.
Yeah.
We have like standard ships. We have like the creme de la creme of ships, and then we have Goblin Nightmare fuckery.
Yeah, and that is to be fair, Goblin Nightmare fuckery is one ship, and then I think it has a name. What did I give it?
Is it called Goblin Nightmare fuckery?
No, I wish it was. It has an actual name though.
Is that the translation from Goblin to?
That's what the locals call it. That's the local nickname for it.
GNF. You see the GNF and the dock over there? Yes. That shit's gotta be harmful for the environment. More harmful than Arcanite? Dog, really though.
It is called the Storm Belcher.
I don't think it's belching out storms. I think that's some worse. But that's a conversation for another day.
I mean,
At least that's a decent name.
it's called the Storm Belcher. It is a metal monstrosity of a ship that belches black smoke wherever it goes. Yeah.
So if we want to help perpetuate the end of the Earth, we go with that.
Up to you what kind of ship you guys want to hire, but that is technically an option if you want to.
The chaotic element of me loves that. I hope you know. And if I were playing a more chaotic character, like my usual motherfuckers, I would 100% be down for Goblin Nightmare fuckery.
I mean, it was to be interesting.
Oh my god, if you guys hire Goblin Nightmare fuckery, I know what Strovan's next character is going to be.
Oh no.
It's gonna be Goblin Nightmare fuckery Bilge Rat.
Oh no.
Right.
Oh no.
So those are just an example of the type of shit you find at the Big Round Air Dock. Lots of diversity. Lots of diversity here.
Oh. Damn it, I hate playing a responsible character.
Oh man, somebody has to be the voice of reason.
I know. Okay. Ignoring goblins. So that's kind of the main. Is there any like other main businesses in the area, or that's just kind of the main shit? What's the tavern situation like?
There's any kind of business you want to do here. Most of them are so generic. I didn't bother writing anything about them. I would just randomly generate their shit. I literally wrote in my notes like randomly generate other random shit for characters if they want to do something with it. There are. I only wrote down like 3 notable places. There's the air dock itself, and then surrounding there's the Hunter's Flagon, which is that sailor's bar. And then there is one other place that wouldn't necessarily catch your eye, but with a 22, you're curious enough to check it out. It's a shop called Chirico's Blades.
Mm-hmm.
And sign up front advertises magical weapon forging.
Looks at our 2 other party members who aren't really blade folk. We're like, alright, well that's the place anyways.
I mean, should we go see about what's cost to build or hire these ships?
You guys probably go do that. I'm gonna check out where the Chantry is. I'm gonna ask around about that.
I am back. Sorry.
No problem.
No,
Oh,
it's
you missed-
cool. You missed out on Goblin Nightmare fuckery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful.
What?
So I described several types of ship that you would see along the docks. One of which is a standard galleon airship, which would be crewed by humans or dwarves or whatever, local people from Cernan province. The second type was very fancy with giant wings, like nailed to the side of the boat, and flowing almost
That's the
elven
Aarakocra.
architecture. That's the Aarakocra. There's like big flags, big sails, very ostentatious. And then the third ship, and there was only one ship like this, was a mishmash of welded in place, poorly executed, heavy iron plating in the rough shape of a ship. It doesn't have any sails. It has two smokestacks that continuously belch this black cloud of awful, crewed entirely by dirty, disgusting goblins that are running up and down the gangplank, moving cargo.
You just reminded me of like 40k orcs. Gonna be honest with you with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, all goblin crew. And then I described at the front of the ship that you can notice that there, between the cracks of the rusted iron plating and spikes, you can see a slight orange glow from within. So if you're looking for ships to hire,
I lovingly dubbed it Goblin Nightmare Fuckery, or GNF for short.
the ship's actual name is the Storm Belcher. If you want to write that down, that is what the ship's name actually is.
Parentheses Goblin Nightmare Fuckery.
Now,
And I said if we were a more chaotic crew, we would definitely go with the Storm Belcher. But yeah, I suggested that Flamora and Chance go check out the docks and get a general idea of ship costs and stuff like that, hiring through our expedition, that kind of stuff. And then Tavanto was going to put feelers out for the floor and kind of go scout them out.
all right.
For the day.
Okay.
Meet back at generic tavern name.
Sounds good to me.
Hunter's Flagon.
Hunter's Flagan.
The Hunter's Flagon. It's not Hunter's Flagon, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not my
It's
flag.
Not your
It's
flagon.
not your flag?
You don't get a flagon.
There you go. Flagonless. Moonless, flagonless. Man, your shit sucks, dog.
Okay. So not super hard to find the chapel, because, oh my god. Sorry, hold on. Okay, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm trying to edit notes and I accidentally scored something out. Alright, not super hard to find the chapel because it is shaped like a chapel. And almost no other buildings are. It's a fairly modest building. It's like the size of a standard church. Could probably seat, I don't know, upwards of 100 people. The outside is pure whitewashed and painted as white as you could possibly get it. Stucco, stone, and wood. There's a bell tower at the front, which presumably you can ring. And then around the grounds of this, because it has its own kind of like plot of land and grounds, you can see there are several missionaries, priests, friars, whatever you want to call them, devotees of the core in their white robes with silver filigree, preaching, discussing things with each other, reading books, and just generally milling about as they do so. Some of them are going about chores, like a couple of the younger altar boys are washing the walls to keep them white. You can see a couple of them are tending to the small lawn and garden shrubbery that are growing around the side of it. It's actually a pretty nice, homey little church, and it seems like they have a community that's keeping it up fairly well.
Just reading people, am I getting any kind of vibes, or is it just these are generally just happy, devout people?
They just seem like they're chilling with each other.
All right.
You notice that there's not really a lot of people hanging around them who aren't part of the Chantry.
Right.
Almost everybody who's around there is wearing the white robes.
Well, I guess I'm about to clash with the color scheme. I head over.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I want to find someone who's not particularly busy and just engage with them. Someone, I don't know if I can tell who's like higher ranking or stuff amongst these people, but someone of decent, I can like deem with decent importance.
Plenty of people to ask.
Mm-hmm.
You go up to one of them and ask, what are you asking first of all? Like, you just come out and go, hey, take me to your leader.
No, I just introduce myself and say, I'm a researcher looking into the core, and I've heard word of your religion, of your church, and find it very interesting. I would love to learn more.
Oh, well, that's wonderful news. We've had many of your kind come through here asking questions before. Surely, come inside and we can discuss.
Thank you very much.
You walk inside and there are several pews, several benches painted white, and in front of each general sitting place, because it's a fucking bench, there are copies of a book that is bound in this pale ivory leather. And the individual who's leading you inside says, "My name is Rolf. I will be here for you to ask any questions, but I will say that most of the questions that you typically have to answer here start and end in this book here." And he grabs one of the ivory-bound books and hands it to you. And on the front of it, it says the Doctrine of the Core. Emblazoned in silver letters. It's barely visible. It's a very odd color scheme, and if it wasn't metallic silver, you probably wouldn't know what it said.
I feel like Devonta's straining his eyes constantly while in this place.
So he basically gives you a book and says, "Please put that back when you are done, and after you have finished reading, come and find me, and I will answer what I can."
Okay. Devonta will begin reading.
Okay. How long are you going to read this book?
How long do I think it would take me to read that book?
It's a pretty thick book. It's like the Bible.
Pretty thick book.
It's the Bible. How long would it take you to read the Bible?
If I devoted all my time and energy to it, probably
It would take you hours. Personal experience, it would take you hours.
a good amount of time.
Let's say 2 days.
Yeah.
16 hours total.
Yeah.
To really like digest it and read all of it.
So I'm not going to spend that. I'm going to tell you right now, Devonta's not going to spend that much time on it today.
Yeah, sure. So let's say if you want to skim it and get a gist.
Yeah, let's skim it for now.
Okay. So the gist of we'll say you get the beginning of the book. You always have to start at the beginning. The beginning essentially details an accounting of the breaking that several older gods who are named loosely in the passages. Mostly by names that are recognizable to figure out who they are, but not popularly known names. So like they don't just call them fucking Timora. They call them like the god of travelers or the patron of fire or whatever the fuck. They use like flower language, and they list off a number of them. Along with a couple extra a couple of extra beings who are mentioned in one or two passages that sacrifice themselves in an effort of selfless saviorism. I don't know. That's not a word, but you get what I'm trying to say. They sacrifice their lives to essentially
Martyrdom.
cast a massive Hail Mary save me spell that would bind the planet together after it had been shattered by the apocalypse, which was caused by an evil being that they call the Dark One.
Oh.
In yeah, martyrdom, sure. They essentially, sacrifice themselves, and their souls, their magical essence, coalesced into what is colloquially known as the core, or I believe I have another name for it. The name that they give the core is Embriol, which I will type in chat.
That sounds dope as fuck.
Embriol is what they call their god.
Which is essentially a fractured soul collection of a bunch of other deities, beings, and patrons.
Yeah. Now you speak Celestial, right?
Yes, I do.
Embriol in Celest, it roughly has a translation. It's like halfway between common and celestial. It has its roots in celestial enough to understand that essentially Embriol means very roughly translates to unity. So they call him the unity, the core, Embriol, all interchangeable.
Okay.
And it the beginning of the book, it details that the core itself, after the ordeal of its creation, lay dormant, contemplating its existence and why it was created to begin with. And after a time, it came to an epiphany and called upon its greatest servant to aid him in spreading his purpose to others, essentially. I am the one true God, and I have come up with the method by which all beings can live in perfect harmony together, and it is by your hand that my will be done, etc., etc. The individual is named Ciliath in the book.
Does that ring any bells to me?
Make a history check.
Yes, sir. As soon as I get back to it. History check, you said? I got a +6 to that. And I'm gonna give myself wheel, because this is important. I don't need it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay.
So, 28.
Okay. Ciliath is a very familiar name to you. Ciliath was one of the oracles from before the breaking, specifically an oracle to Saloon. Which is the god of
Saloon is... Yeah.
He was her oracle before the breaking happened, and he is named here as the first and greatest follower of Embriol.
But it didn't Ciliath come with us?
No.
No, he did. He stayed behind.
So you have a different oracle as part of your troop.
Right.
Ciliath was, like I said, there were several individuals that were named once or twice in the passages that would sacrifice themselves along with them. Ciliath was among the oracles who sacrificed their life as well. All of the oracles except for one were killed and absorbed as they were used as conduits for the deity's powers to enter and affect the mortal realm in such a way that it created the core in the first place.
Okay.
For some reason,
But
Ciliath
is alive.
is alive. You think. It could be a coincidence. It could be someone named Ciliath. Although the physical description of Ciliath that you get in the book is too uncanny close to the description that's given in history to not be the same guy.
Vastly interesting.
Physically, to describe him, he is long, blanched white hair, clean shaven elf. He's a high elf, very tall, very thin, neatly manicured nails. Like he's described as like this pure being of ultimate, like holiness or whatever. He is the perfect being, and the core chose him to be the whatever. You know, that's the way he's described in the book. So anyway, the Oracle called upon Ciliath to essentially understand his teachings, his doctrine, to learn about it, to commune with it, and for the core to speak through him when necessary. And he established essentially the core gifted him a home upon which he could live, and upon which one day travelers would land, and he could take that as a sign to begin his gospel. And that's about as far as you get. In the beginning there was the breaking, and afterward there was the core.
Holy ass. Okay. That's actually a lot.
You rolled high.
Yeah.
Natural 20 and a 20 fucking 8. So you get a lot. You're welcome.
Thank you. I kind of just like blink a couple times, reread some passages to make sure I got the information right. Take out a scroll of parchment, write some stuff down. Put the book very, very reverently. Put the book back to make sure it's all gassied up. Make sure that's all good. I don't want to fuck around and like fuck around and fuck shit up. And I'll go out to meet Rolf.
Go have some
Meanwhile, Chance and Fulmore are at the docks while he's doing all this shit.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are doing at the docks, but feel free to
Trying to get prices for chartering a ship to go places.
Gotcha. Okay, well, depends on what ship you choose, and depends on how I'm fucking feeling at the moment. Alright, so you're looking to go from Migron, I'm assuming, to this marker, which is 24 days. So it's the better part of a month just to get to the marker that you have as part of your key thing. For the record, I am basing what the ruler on this map that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the full world map with all the hexes.
There's two estimates. Chance is looking for an estimate to the specific spot, and an estimate to Araval.
It's 24 days to the key marker, where you guys.
Which would be 48 days there and back.
Yeah, 48 days there and back. If you wanted to go straight for Araval after that and hit a settlement, I'm assuming not just being dropped off in the fucking wilderness. The closest settlement would be on the island of Aguicas, and it is an Anician settlement on a relatively large floating island just off the coast of Araval's southern peninsula. So that would be, let's see, go there, go there. A total of 46 days of travel.
Now, we wouldn't be able to do that until after the funeral, because if Chance is out of the country when the funeral happens, he's probably going to come back to some very angry people.
Yeah. I mean, with the turnaround that we've seen from the actual royal funeral that we just had recently, Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. Then you're looking at a turnaround of like maybe a month, maybe 2, if you're lucky. And you gotta after you're done investigating this town and getting an estimate, you gotta hightail it back to Larishev and prepare.
Yeah, this is something that can't put off. Like even if it weren't, even if the fucking contract with the Strovan wouldn't dictate this being a necessity, the amount of shit he would catch for not being there would be not small.
Yeah. Roxas doesn't have to go, so that's dope.
I mean, yeah, it's fun not to be there, but Chance does, and well, that also means that Moyle's not gonna be there whenever you're doing shit. So it'll probably be you. So if you guys are doing anything, it'd be literally just you and Flamora.
That's family time. I mean, not me and Flora. I'm talking about me and kids.
I was about to say.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no.
We're on that level yet. You can scoot out from Mary.
Cheater.
Hell no.
Okay.
No.
So anyway, estimates of ship travel. 46 days, right? Is what I said. 46
Yeah.
days.
46-day round trip.
48-day round trip.
No, well, round trip from just the key marker, it's 48 days. If you're looking to go from Migron to key marker to Arval, one-way trip, that's 46.
Wait, why
And
would
then
we want
coming
to
back
change
would be another 46. So you'd be like 80 days around the world in 80 days type of thing.
Are you sure we can discuss that in the future, but I don't know about that.
I'm letting you know what the options are. So going to the keys marker that I set for you is 24 days, and then to get back is another 24, provided that nothing happens. Plus, however long you stay where the key marker is.
So let's pat ourselves out like maybe at least a week for that.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2 or 3 days.
Depending on what's there.
Parsing that information, nearly dying a couple times, most likely.
Sure. So passes for 24 days for basically a month. Hiring a ship to do that. You have 2 options. You can buy passage onto the ship, which is less money than chartering it. If you charter it, it's going to be a lot more money. But
chartering is like
do a round trip.
Chartering is if like just pay for the trip in its entirety, and they basically, instead of doing a cargo runs or we just tag along with what they're doing normally, we are paying them to go out of their way to do what we want.
Yep. Essentially, if you charter it, you are paying for the boat to take you where you want to go and then go back. If you buy passage, it's far cheaper because they're already going that way anyway.
But then you gotta sort out how to get back.
It's gonna be much longer because they're gonna be taking a trade route, and they're number one, they'd have to be convinced to go where you want them to go, which would probably cost money or a persuasion check. And number 2, they're going all the way to Arval along the trade route. They're doing their trade for however many days or weeks, and then they're coming back, which is gonna take probably 100 days total. Like if not more.
I don't like that.
But it's gonna be far cheaper for you. If you're chartering the whole ship, if you're paying for people to take what is essentially a month and a half out of their lives, or like a month and a third out of their lives, then you're looking at like, let's see, how much would they make on a typical thing? They'd make probably close to 1,000 gold. So let's call it 1,000. If you want to charter them, let's call it a month and a third would be 1,200 gold total.
We can do that. Looking at
No.
long. I have the funds for that right now.
Same here.
I don't.
Yeah, because you're Batman and you have to spend money on your insane fucking mansion.
The ultimate man cave.
Look. If I don't fix up the manor, I'm gonna look.
Hey, there's no shade coming your way, dog. I'm just saying that's what your expenses is like, and
We all got
I'm set.
responsibilities.
Right, and I'm taking care of my shit. My shit ain't that expensive, so
Old and busted, new hotness.
exactly. So I understand why your money's tight, and you just missed out on your taxes, dog. So I'm just saying that me and Flamora are strapped this time, okay?
All right.
Anyway, so that's the estimate that you get for
the
chartering a
keys.
boat to where you want to go and coming back.
1,200. Okay, we could probably split the diff on that whenever we get that.
The one problem I see with chartering is the fact that we have to. Is that when we get to Araval, we may be busy for a while in the Underdark. And so they may just say, we were waiting here for you for like another month, so pay us more.
Well, we can worry about that later because, truly and honestly, it's already going to be like around a month and a half, at least a month and a half to do the round trip from the key point. And that's already stretching like Tavanta's limit with like straight up
being away from the kids.
Right. And that's a long trip and for anyone. And we already have a bunch of stuff here to do. So I think Araval is this is just me, banter back and forth a bit if we need to. I think Araval is kind of like on the list of things that we got like lined up quest wise. I think that's towards the bottom. And especially that's gonna have to wait a bit because you got a funeral to attend to. So most likely the order of events is that I see playing out is Chantry business, like at least investigating a bit for this Chantry business, funeral, maybe a little bit more Chantry stuff, key, and then Araval, right? Depending on what we get out of the Chantry. If anyone has any disagreements with that, let it be known. Communication is key.
I have to go, so
Yeah, we're at the end of the session here.
All right.
So what I will say here, we're going to end the session here. Course of action seems pretty much set. Next session, so long as enough people can make it, that I can do a dramatic reading. I will describe the birthday party followed by the funeral, which will be a weird downturn of events. And then after that, your departure on the next leg of your journey, as well as who is crowned the next King of Onyx.
And also, we need whatever happens from the Chantry if we want to branch off from that. So,
whatever you're going to do. But until then, we're going to end it here. Thank you all for joining me. We will pick up next week with the next episode 34, which I will definitely remember to upload, as well as this one and last week's, because I didn't fucking do that. But yeah, we'll pick it up next week, and bye.